What are these even? I'm curious.
So Scott, let me explain. Everyone else shut up. So pretty much, this is a subreddit where people post like pretty much their situation, and they kind of have Reddit decide whether they're in the wrong, the other person's in the wrong, or everyone is in the wrong, or nobody's in the wrong.
Oh, interesting. Okay, this is interesting.
Very
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
So my 17-year-old son had a couple of friends over last week, and we're playing some ball hockey with little nets and rubber balls in the house. We asked him several times.
You said balls.
We asked him several times.
Oh,
All right,
no.
the channel needs to burn down to the ground now. There's no point in just keeping the channel afloat. We've asked them several times not to do this in the house because they play right next to a 75-inch TV. I understand. Sure enough, while I was at work last week, one of the boys let go of his stick on accident and broke the TV. Now it has a vertical line covering 1/3 of my screen. My son called me right away to tell me, and he started calling repair places. They all basically said the TV is not worth fixing. The boy who broke it first offered to buy a used TV off of FB Marketplace. That's Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, this was all texted to me at work by my son going as a go-between. And I said no, that I didn't want a used replacement. I was at work and I hadn't even seen the TV. Then the boy told my son that he should sell my son's car to pay for it and then buy a less expensive car. Keep in mind that this kid was given a fairly new Wrangler at 16. Damn. Which is a pretty nice car. My son texted me Jackson's mom's number and told me that I should call her. I didn't want to text without seeing it, and I was having a crappy day at work, so I didn't text. I hadn't heard a word from the boy or his parents since the accident. I know that my son is partially to blame, because he is responsible for his friend's behavior when he has guests over. I told my son that he will have to make $100 a week payments for 17 weeks to pay off the original cost of the TV. We got it on Black Friday 2019, and the current model will cost us over $25,000.
Damn.
Not 25,000. I'm sorry, 2,500. Sorry.
Ew.
I was about to say
But-
a
yeah, no, but
$25,000 TV.
That's a deal right there.
Sold.
My son
Take my
works.
money.
My son works as a car hop at Sonic. Nice. So this isn't easy money for him. He was already planning to work about 35 hours a week over the summer to save up some cash. He asked his friends if he would help split the payments, and his friend told him that he wouldn't because if my son broke something at their house, his parents would never ask the guests to pay. If my son had done yeah. Okay.
That
Save
kid's
it.
reminded me of Jared Shepard, but go on.
Save it for the end. If my son had done that at someone else's house, he would have been at their house that evening to apologize, and as the parents, we would have offered to either replace the TV or give them some sort of payment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd do.
Yeah. Then we would have had our son pay us back. AITA
Yeah.
for expecting them to accept responsibility. I haven't heard a word from them. I know kids make mistakes. A month or so, one of his friends put a hole in the wall, but he walked downstairs, apologized, and offered to fix it. We didn't actually ask him to fix it, but thanked him for letting us know and went about our day. He had owed up, and we were happy. And the issue was over. Obviously, a TV is a much bigger deal, but I think owning up and apologizing would have been a good start. Right. So, what's everyone's?
All right.
I agree with that.
All right, so
What's everyone's take on this?
I
Well-
agree with Jordan what he would do, and I think
I
like
didn't even
$100 a. You didn't, who said the whole apologize?
I was reading
Take
the
your-
whole story, Scott.
Oh, okay, then I agree with what he said. Like you would apologize, then like offer to pay or replace it,
Oh, so
and
you
then
agree with the Redditor.
I do.
It also like in my opinion that also teaches his son like, hey, you gotta be careful with the friends you keep and all that. Because him going up to his friend and being like, "Yo, you kind of messed this up. Can you split the payments?" It's not gonna be $100 for him. It's gonna be like 50-50, whatever. And his friend being like, "Oh, well, your parents are a-holes because my parents wouldn't make you do that." No. You know what I mean? Because, like, I feel like a true friend would be like, in my opinion, number one, I'd probably pay for the whole thing, to be honest with you. But two, if I was asked to split it, like I just said, I'd pay for the whole thing. So splitting it 50-50 would not really be much of an issue. I don't know.
Yeah. And it feels like there definitely is. You definitely need some responsibility and definitely some ownership for this problem.
And he's not asking for the full price because he can't.
Exactly.
With that $1,700, yes, they got it for sale, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to get it back, they need $2,500. He's not asking for $2,500 to replace it. He's asking for the $1,700 that he broke.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think that's reasonable.
It's very reasonable.
It's not.
It's more than reasonable. Some parents would just be like, okay, well, I guess you owe us this much now, like $2,500, because that's what's going to take to replace it. No.
Yeah, so I think OP is definitely in the right here. They would even be in the right if they demanded, hey, you broke I can't get another one of these exact TVs unless you pay $2,500. So, run my $2,500 because, you'd expect the exact replacement if someone breaks something of yours. You wouldn't want a lesser thing than what you got. So I think even if OP asked for the full amount of the TV, like MSRP or whatever, it would not have been a big deal.
Right. Did we get everyone's input? I feel like we didn't get Scott's.
No.
Oh, but mine?
Yeah.
What was the question? I know we were talking about the TV and the whole...
What's your take on this whole story?
Well, first of all, the boys should not have been playing in the room with that kind of stuff in the first place. They should have been outside. Second, I would have my son apologize, ask what they wanted to do. If he wanted to pay for it, I would pay them personally, and then my son would owe me. So it's like, hey, you know what? Just give me like a part of your paycheck or something. Like, depends on how severe the situation is, depending on how my son or daughter is taking it. You know what I'm saying? If they're really being a jerk about it, then I'd be harsher. So, but it feels though like Dad was really hard. I mean, like $100 a week. Jeez Louise, that's a lot for a waiter.
Yeah.
And I mean, like that's hard.
That's more than the paycheck.
Yeah, like that. Like you're not even counting tips either.
But keep this in mind, Scott, is that he didn't ask for the $2,500 price that would take to replace it. He asked for the $1,700 price that he originally paid for it on Black Friday. And keep in mind, Black Friday, they did not only just pay $1,700, they probably had to go through a mob of people and slaughter a few people to get it.
I mean, and when you get something that expensive, sales taxes is also a factor.
Oh yeah, it's also like warranty too.
That, like, I'm just saying, they had to go to war for that thing. They're like, just pay us the original price.
Unless you do it online like I did.
Where I live, sales tax would be a whole nother like $150 on a $1,700 TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like my laptop, that was like the same way.
I got my first this 50-inch TV right here, and the sales tax was bad.
I'm tempted to move over to Delaware for like a few minutes, buy some bunch of expensive stuff, then move back.
I went to Delaware to get this thing. I wasn't even thinking. So I think the overruling is this guy is not indeed the a-hole.
No, he's not. No, I feel bad for him, like having to go through that because he was fessing up to it. I don't think he was trying to hide it either, or he was at least trying to fix it. So already,
I mean, this kind of reminds me of a time I was hanging out with a friend, and what were we playing? It was Far Cry 4. We were playing.
Good game. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. And when I was playing, he was sitting there. We had loaded airsoft guns because we were going to go outside and shoot them in like a few minutes or so. And he pointed one at the screen. Actually, no, I loaded them, but he didn't know it or whatever. And he shot the TV with an airsoft gun.
No. Terrible.
How close was he?
Oh, we were like 3 feet from TV. I mean,
Oh,
we were right on the
no.
TV, so it was.
Oh, that's a
But,
shame.
I mean,
what happened after that?
He told his mom, and I mean, he had to. He kind of footed the bill for. I can't remember if he footed the complete bill or like just a partial for the replacement, but
We still have.
yeah.
So I got the first one loaded up here. My sister
Yep.
ruined my markers. I asked for compensation.
Okay.
I don't really want to say I'm a 17-year-old female
She's
out
like
loud,
17 now.
but I guess I just did. Yeah. Going to art college in September, and I'm really excited because I'll be able to start building a portfolio easier, and I'll be a stepping stone into getting a tattoo. My dad, not my sister's dad, got me a bunch of Copic markers in 2019. I did not use them. I did not use them much until last year. But now, when I run out of something, really black or white or red, I usually just buy them individually because they're not cheap. I love them and take care of them very well.
Like, can I just interject here?
Yeah, go on.
These markers that this OP is talking about, a 72 pack on Amazon is like $300-$400.
Oh my
So
god.
she's
wow.
they're definitely
But
she's not
wait,
kidding.
wait a minute. That's 7.
So anyway, I'm just going to continue on.
His
I went to my
partner.
significant. I was going to say significant others. Significant others, family mobile home last week from Thursday to Sunday. I didn't lock my door, so my mom put. So my mom put washing on my radiator. What? Could put washing on my
It's like a
radiator.
northern
if
thing.
needed. Okay, if needed. But I asked her to lock it when my sister was over. She's 6, autistic. Oh no, quite large and highly destructive. Oh god. Oh no, this is turning into a wrong turn. So I lock my door even if I'm in my room and she's when she's over for the weekend. My mom ended up misplacing my key, so she couldn't lock the door. My sister got into my room, destroyed my markers. I had 3 left that work, but she somehow managed to ruin the majority of them, as well as some of the drawings and a sketch that I've been working on for a while. She's also got at my walls, my white bed sheets, and somehow the cat! The cat!
No.
What happened to the
Not the
cat? There's no
cat.
details on the cat.
Oh,
So I am
Cat's fucking
God,
dead.
that-
oh,
She gave it to Shane Dawson. So
Oh,
anyway,
no.
Oh,
You can't put that
no.
in. You can't
No.
put that in.
I'm putting that in, Jordan. Screw you.
Alright.
I'm beyond upset when I asked my mom and my sister's dad about being compensated for these, or at least being bought another set of markers of any kind. They said no. I shouldn't have been so irresponsible with them. I reminded my mom that she was the one who lost my key, that it's her fault that they're ruined. She called me an a-hole, and she hasn't spoken to me since. Am I the a-hole?
This
Oh,
one's
this is a
tricky.
hard one. This was a
one's
hard one.
tricky. I like
I
this
want
one.
to know what happened to that cat. That is what I'm concerned about.
What happened to that cat?
All right, someone go
fucking-
because
I think she left it
I'll
out
go.
for a reason, boys.
Hold on. I'll go.
Sorry, go on.
So OP, I'd want to say 75% to 80% in the right here. And on one hand, they're very expensive markers. They are $400 markers for a set of 72, which is what I'm guessing OP got, because they kind of mentioned that they had, quite a few of them. So yeah, OP's definitely in the right here. I think she should have taken better care to not leave the marker somewhere that her sister could reach, because knowing her sister was special needs, most of the blame here falls on the parents, because
how. So I just wanted to say real quick, she didn't exactly say how high functioning the sister was though, because sometimes they can be really.
She said autistic and highly destructive.
That doesn't say how high functioning she was or not.
Imagine,
She-
you know,
functioning enough to be
she-
I'm
destructive.
imagining an autistic,
Autistic.
autistic Stitch. You know how he set up that little city and just destroyed it. That's what I'm imagining.
So definitely, parents are definitely in the wrong for not keeping an eye on the 6-year-old special needs child they have running through the room, or through the house, sorry, and it getting to the point where she colors the cats. That's what really got me. The cat, not even the cat was spared.
Not even
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
That was-
Definitely, OP is definitely in the clear here, to me at least. Not the ass, not the a-hole. Whoops.
I feel as though, like, was she living with them? Or was she just visiting?
So I feel like
seems-
they're so here's the thing. Given some like minor like details here and there, I think their parents are divorced, and she has a place
Okay.
with her mom and her dad, and her
What
sister
sounds
is
like.
not her dad's offspring. So yeah.
Okay, so she kind of like had to stay. See, my thing is like if she knew about the sister, then why bring over something so expensive? You know, unless she had to do like homework or
Well,
something
she
like
was
that.
under the impression that her room was going to be locked, and then her mom was like, "Oh well, I guess I lost the key. Good luck."
Yeah. And then I guess she had to step out or something. Like, I'm trying to like get like other on like, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to get like other information here.
So Scott, it says in the story that she went for the weekend to her boyfriend's house.
Oh, okay. I did not hear that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have brought the markers with me. But I feel as though she should get some compensation for them because, like, it was, you know, their responsibility to protect it. And I want to know what the hell happened to that cat. I'm sorry. That's really going to bother me. Push the cat.
OP was very
It's dead.
specific. I went to my
it's
boyfriend's
dead.
family mobile home. Very
Yeah,
specific.
very specific that he lives in a trailer.
That's the
Let's
only
be
thing that
Florida.
really, like,
Calling-
stuck out.
Calling out your boyfriend on that one. Just
Down to do the double
Fucking
wide for the
trailer.
weekend. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
All right. Who else hasn't gone yet? Or hasn't spoken
I've-
on this subject?
I'll say something.
Which
I feel
story?
like
Oh.
OP is definitely in the right for wanting compensation. I mean, it is her mom's fault in the end that she lost the key to her house
Mhm.
and couldn't lock the room. So I feel like she is very justified in wanting some kind of compensation.
Yeah.
Or at the very most, replacement.
Mhm.
I got the next story for once we're done with this one. Okay. This is the
Which one
title.
next?
Am I the asshole for not apologizing for being blunt with my grandparents? Cultural context. I'm Indian. Arranged marriages are very common and preferred. Once people hit the 25-year-old mark, their families start looking for potential to get married. Now here's a personal context. Everyone in my close family has had an arranged marriage, but almost everyone, except one couple, has been stuck in an unhappy marriage pretty much all their life, since divorce is culturally frowned upon. So here's the beginning of the story now. I, 26F, visited my grandparents, who lives with my aunt and uncle after almost
say
2
female.
years. No.
Say female. You're a 26-year-old female. You're a woman,
I am a-
Karaj.
Yes, I'm a
Accept it.
26-year-old female. Visited my grandparents, who lives with my aunt and uncle. After almost 2 years, and they brought up the fact that I'm single and that my family isn't looking for potential suitors. I told everyone that I don't want to get married anytime soon. My grandmother started lecturing me on how getting married is an important milestone in life and how I'll be happier if I find a compatible guy to spend my life with. I made jokes about everything because I really did not want to stay on the topic, but it only kept getting more intense, with everyone, including my parents pitching in and saying how marriage is a beautiful thing and that I shouldn't be so against it. My parents want me to get an arranged marriage as well, but they want to respect my choices. But in situations where people discuss the topic, they side against me because they think I'm being unreasonable. It's not that I'm against it, it's just that I'm not ready for it yet, especially not an arranged marriage, and I stated the same. Few more advice and quotes on how I'm wasting my youthful years and how there won't be enough single people once I'm 30 plus years old, and how this is part of our culture and that people would judge me for living the way I do now. At this point, I'm pretty much done, and I calmly just looked at everyone and said, None of you are in a happy marriage, so you shouldn't be the flag bearers of marriage or force it upon those that are unwilling. I don't want to get married for the sole reason of being able to have sex that's, quote, approved by elders. I could never spend my life with someone that doesn't bring me joy. Unlike you guys, I'd rather be unmarried and happy than married and miserable. I don't give a frick what everyone,
Just say
including
the
you
word,
guys,
Courage.
fine. I don't give a fuck what everyone, including you guys, think about my life choices. At this point,
Not monetized. Sorry.
yeah, sure. At this point, pretty much everyone had gone quiet, and everyone was staring at me, I excused myself and went home. My parents were soon cornered by everyone saying how extremely rude I was and how they are at fault for raising me to be so insolent. Eventually, my parents called me up and asked me to apologize for being rude to my grandparents and uncle and aunt, and I refused. This resulted in more indignant comments from everyone, and my parents think I was being an asshole for not apologizing and get this over with. I think I might be the asshole because I was pretty rude in my response, and it could be seen as disrespectful as well. And not respecting your elders in our culture is a huge no-no. I could have probably faced it more delicately than I did. So, who wants to go first?
This is an interesting one. I'm
This
thinking
is
because I really respect the Indian culture. I hope I'm not
Scott,
talking.
as an Indian person, don't. It's not worth respecting the keys.
Because I know like there are like two cultures that still does arranged marriage, and it
So-
sometimes work out.
I
But
feel like I was sorry, Scott. I'm interrupting you. Go on.
Thank you. But at the same time, though, it has to be done right. Like I was watching this one show, and it's all about arranged marriages, and none of them get married. Like this whole purpose of this lady was to get these people arranged married, and it just did not work. It was just no. And I feel as though that's what's going to happen here. Like, and I feel as though if they continue on down that path, it's just going to lead to more and more unhappy marriages. Now, admittedly, though, we don't have any evidence of the parents' marriage. We don't have any, she didn't say, oh, yeah, my parents were constantly fighting and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's hard to really judge this one without a lot of evidence.
It says on the bottom, ETA, my family is very vocal about how they hate their marriages, so I wasn't drawing conclusions. Everyone knows it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to put that in. Sorry.
Okay, then. Well, that's interesting. So then I would partially agree with the 26-year-old, but I would have done it I would have done it a little bit nicer. And it said, look,
could have phrased it.
I would have said, look, yeah. I would have said, look, I'm gonna do what makes me happy, and that's gonna be unmarried. I'm gonna be unmarried for a little bit. I don't appreciate you guys forcing me into this. So, and then just you can always walk away. People are not saying it.
I feel like I'm almost in this like situation, so like I have like a bias towards the OP. So I'm gonna have to say the OP is not the a-hole. I think that they should do what they want to do because it's their life.
Jordan.
I think my take on this, I don't know. I am at the point where like the OP should get to live their life how they want to live it, but then there's that cultural thing, and then I know you said, Karaj, that it's nothing to respect. We don't want to be disrespectful because we're not of Indian descent and say, oh, this is wrong. We want to respect other people's culture, but at the same time, the OP should get to live her life as she wants to live it, but also at the same time, probably should have worded it differently, just to appease the grandparents maybe, and then just didn't do exactly what they wanted. I don't know. I guess that would be considered lying, but at the same time, you can't please everybody.
No, you can't.
I'll go after you, Chris.
Yeah, I agree with whoever said that, obviously OP should be able to live their life how they want, and if they don't want to arrange marriage, that's not what they want, and if they don't want to get married, that's fine, but I feel like they could have phrased. Yeah, I feel like they could have phrased the whole like, I'm gonna live my life how I want kind of talk, maybe just a little bit lighter, just as to not cause like a stir.
So yeah, I think okay, so I could probably provide some insight into this. Given my parents are arranged.
Well,
Definitely, it's one of those things where it's like people don't really listen, especially in Indian culture, especially when they're older. They don't really listen because you're just supposed to do whatever the elders say and not have any concern for your own happiness. So I think definitely OP's in the right here because people who are arranged are often not as happy as people who sought each other out naturally. And on top of that, I have an example of when people don't really listen until you tell them bluntly, and kind of hurts the feelings. So, in 2014, I went on a cruise with my sister and dad, and then our family friends, and then my dad's sister and her husband and their kids. So
your dad's husband? What?
My dad's sister and her husband.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, and their kids. So my little cousins, what they're going to be called. So my little cousins were very young at this time, and my aunt was always going out drinking with my parents and all the parents of the group that we went with. And who would get dumped with the kids? My family friends, and me and my sister would. So eventually I just got tired of it because, I want to have fun on this cruise too. It's a freaking Carnival cruise, So eventually, after I just got pissed off one day, and I told her straight to her face, I'm like, hey, we paid just as much as you to be on this cruise, so I'm not here to babysit your kids. And they were kind of taken aback by it. But, I got my point across that I got a talking to about my parents, like, you shouldn't say stuff like that, but I'm like, they didn't listen to me. So you gotta hurt some feelings and get your point across sometimes. Especially in this kind of culture where you're just supposed to listen to people who are older than you, no matter what, even if it affects your own quality. So definitely OP, you're 100% in the right, brown person. I totally understand what it's like.